a round table and we can go deeper in this point. So I ask people to come to here. And we have the round table about investor access to share, and Alessia Potecchi, Department of Economy and Finance of the Democratic Party. Paolo Mazzanti, he is responsible for Askanews, one of oldest journalists in the sector. I mean, too old because the friend of mine still 50 years ago, I don't know, 60 years ago, I don't want to say exactly. Marco Bacini, professor at Leuven University. I'm sorry, Riccardo Sorrentino, president of the Journalists Association, is not able to come today, but he sent us a message of welcome. Giampaolo, Berni, Ferretti, I don't know if he will arrive probably during the coffee break because he likes coffee and breaks. And Benedetta Cosmi, journalist, she writes on the Corriere della Sera, which is the most important newspaper we have in Milan. So the first speech belongs to Alessia. She will speak from here, I think.
Thank you very much, and good morning, everyone, and thank you for having me here today. I am delighted to be part of this event, and would like to extend my thanks and congratulations to Paolo Brambilla for organizing these 2 days of important discussions. Today, we must confront the pressing challenges in the economic and financial sector, with Europe as our key reference point. Banks, of course, play a critical role in this. The significant economic crisis of recent years has ended, and now Europe and Italy must choose the path of development with conviction. We must rise to meet new challenges, seize opportunities, and play a leading role in shaping the change ahead, which can no longer be delayed. The future we face requires us to focus on people, placing the individual at the center of the economy and financial systems. As we consider saving, taxation, social security, and ecological and digital transitions, we must be realistic about their impact on society. This change carries significant social value that we cannot ignore. A profound shift is needed to make Europe more cohesive, enabling a recovery that is sustainable, not only for the environment, but also in terms of employment, rights, and meeting the needs of people. Digitalization and technological innovation, including artificial intelligence, must be guided to reduce inequality, promote solidarity, and ensure sustainability in economy and social development. Europe has drifted from social foundation in recent decades, and now we must decide what kind of Europe we want. The primary issues will be economic, taxation, financial programs, and ensuring peace. We must ask ourselves whatever we want to build a Europe of social and economic solidarity. It's time to revitalize the European social model, moving beyond austerity and national self-interest, and embracing a social pillar for the Union that places people and work at its core. We must seize the best opportunities of the green and digital transition, while ensuring inclusivity, especially by enhancing social dialogue and collective bargaining. Women, too, must benefit from this progress. Europe must also act with more unity and decisiveness on the many unsolved issues it faces today, including peace process, where the need to move forward with greater determination. We need now the same courage that led to the creation of the Next Generation EU initiative. Economic governance must play a key role in building a social democrat and sustainable Europe, supporting those affected by the ecological and digital transitions. Establishing a unified tax system is essential to create a strong social foundation for the Union, even though harmonizing 27 tax systems is no small task. It requires competence, seriousness, and foresight, but it's necessary if we are to meet the challenges ahead. While strengthening finance stability across Europe, we also need the initiatives that move faster, setting clear priorities like governance, solidarity, and cohesion. Weakening welfare system would create vulnerabilities that we cannot afford. Europe has provided positive answers on various issues in recent years, but now is the time to take further steps to enable the Union to act more decisively. We must ensure that future decisions are hindered by endless negotiation or vetoes, which only delay progress and weaken unity. The ecological transition is not unavoidable, but also a key opportunity for shared job creations and economy development. However, we must address the risks that accompany it, ensuring that policies support both worker and business. Investment in sectors like renewable energy, green technology, and research must be prioritized, while social safety nets and training programs are strengthening to manage the transition effectively. To conclude, Europe cannot afford to move backwards. We must take bold steps to ensure that our economy, our environment, our people thrive in the years to come. A more cohesive, resilient, and forward-looking Europe is within reach if we act decisively together. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I can ask Paolo Mazzanti to speak about the same or different goal. It depends on you.
Thank you very much for the invitation. Thank you, Paolo. As Maria Antonietta Massari has already said, according to the Bank of Italy, our national central bank, the financial wealth of Italians amount to approximately 5,000 billion euros, while European savings are estimated at 33,000 billion. In general, the most popular financial instrument of saving families are certificates of deposit and postal savings bonds held by 50% of investors, followed by mutual fund, 29%, and Italian government bonds, 18%. But many Italians, as Maria Antonella Massari said, do not invest their savings, which remain in current accounts. It is estimated that there are over 1,260 billion in current accounts, an increase compared to recent years. With respect to these figures, I would like to make two assessments for which both the role of banks and financial literacy are involved. Italy and Europe are paying for the absence of a savings management industry with large operators. In the recent report on the European single market, the former Italian Prime Minister Enrico Letta has stated that every year 300 to 400 billion euros of European savings leave Europe to be invested by large American asset management companies. Even with these resources, American companies come to Europe to shop for European companies. Hence, the urgency of unifying the European financial market and creating large European financial companies, as our bank UniCredit is doing with the German Commerzbank. This is one of the priorities indicated by the recent Mario Draghi report to relaunch Europe's competitiveness. Italy then has the problem of financing the many small unlisted companies, and therefore of putting family savings in contact with these companies. The individual saving plans for private individual and pension funds created in 2017 for this purpose with tax incentives have so far collected 15 billion euros, but it's too little. More needs to be done. Second point. The 5,000 billion of financial wealth of Italian families, to which are added another 5,000 billion of real estate wealth, are almost 2 times the national public debt, which is around 2,800 billion. And in fact, many of our politicians argue that public debt is not a problem because there is a great deal of private wealth. This is both true and false. It is true because Italian families are financially solid and could resist an eventual default of the state better than in other countries. But it is also false because our high public debt, today equal to 135% of the GDP, but which will rise to 137 in 2026, costs us a lot in terms of passive interests, resources taken away from the economic development and the country welfare. In fact, we pay 85 billion euros in interest every year, and our rates are higher than the average European rates precisely because of the size of the debt and its perceived riskiness by investors. It has been calculated that if we paid the average European interest rates on our debt, the state would save from 35 to 40 billion a year, and a lower perceived riskiness of the country would have a positive effect on the entire economy. Interest rates would also fall for businesses and families. Real assets, such as real estate and shares, would appreciate in value. For this reason, I think that the reduction of public debt, requested, by the way, by the European Union with the new Stability Pact, and that the Meloni government has committed to starting from 2027, with its mandate will end, in the structural budget plan, is a primary interest of all citizens, and especially of the richest, who hold the real estates, the real assets that would be appreciated. It would be enough for a small share of the financial wealth of families to be transferred to debt reduction to achieve this goal. I'm not necessarily calling for an extraordinary wealth tax to reduce the debt. Other methods can be studied. For example, the issuance of government bonds at lower rates than the current one, with a premium to be paid to subscribers when the debt dynamics have reduced. In conclusion, I think that today, one of the best investments for Italian is to bet on debt reduction. Thank you very much.
Grazie Paolo for your speech. Now we ask Marco Bacini to speak to us. I don't know if he has the same point of view, but it depends on your goals. Please.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Marco Bacini, and I'm a professor at the Department of Management, Finance and Technology at the LUM University of Bari. And I'm the director of the Master's Program in Intelligence for National and International Security. Plus, I'm also the coordinator of the Scientific and Technical Committee for Digital Transformation of Regione Lombardia. So I did this introduction just because I would like to focus my speech on these kind of topics. It is a privilege to be here today, and I would like to extend my deepest gratitude to Paolo Brambilla, friend and great coordinator of this important event. So, as we look ahead to the future of private investments and the role of bank, it is impossible to ignore the profound changes occurring in the world around us. Geopolitical tension, global crisis, and wars are reshaping the economic landscape. From the war in Ukraine to shifts in the power dynamics across the globe, these events have created significant volatility and uncertainty in financial markets. Banks and financial institutions are facing unprecedented challenges in this environment. I think that with challenges always comes opportunities. To navigate this new era, banks must not only act as financial intermediaries, but also as strategic enablers of stability, growth, and innovation. One of the most pressing needs is for banks to help mitigate the risk associated with geopolitical uncertainty. This involves not only managing traditional financial risk, but also incorporating geopolitical risk assessments into their decision-making processes. So, by leveraging intelligence, data analytics, and foresight, banks can anticipate potential disruption and position themselves to better support their clients and investors. Another area of focus is the role that banks play in driving sustainable investments. The ESG agenda is no longer a peripheral concern. It has become central to how investors make decisions. Banks must not only offer products that align with ESG criteria, but also actively guide clients in making responsible investment choices that consider the long-term impact on the planet and society. Digital transformation is another critical dimension shaping the future of banking. New technologies such as artificial intelligence, blockchain, and big data analytics are transforming how financial institutions operate. To remain competitive, banks must embrace this innovation not just to improve efficiency, but also to enhance security, improve customer experience, and drive sustainable growth. At the same time, we cannot overlook the importance of resilience. In an age where cyber threats are ever-present, financial institutions need to prioritize cybersecurity to safeguard not only their assets, but also trust of their clients and investors. So, what should banks do moving forward? I believe there are a few clear priorities. First, invest in innovation. Banks need to lead in the development and adoption of cutting-edge financial technologies to stay ahead in an increasingly digital world. Second, support ESG initiatives. By embedding sustainability into their core operation and investment offerings, banks can be powerful agents of positive change. Third, strengthen geopolitical risk management. What does it mean? Incorporating intelligence-driven risk assessments will allow banks to better navigate uncertainties caused by geopolitical tensions. Fourth and last, but not for importance, build resilience. By investing in robust cybersecurity measures and enhancing operational resilience, banks can protect their clients, their investors, and their own operation from external shocks. In conclusion, while the challenges we face are considerable, I'm optimistic about the future of investments and the role banks will play. Through innovation, resilience, and a commitment to sustainability, we can build a financial system that not only delivers growth, but also creates a more secure, equitable, and sustainable world. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Marco. Okay. And now we ask Benedetta Cosmi, a journalist of our main newspaper, but she's probably speaking about something larger than financial, because she is involved in social and in the future.
Thank you, Paolo. Tra l'altro ci dovrebbero essere dei giornalisti per un corso di formazione.
Sì, I have
Perché, diciamo,
just to say there is some journalist on the backstage, because we are giving the opportunity to have some a day of credits for their formation. So.
Okay.
If at the end, when we have some minutes more, we can ask, of course, to journalists to make some proposal.
Bene. Proseguo in italiano, però mi ha detto che abbiamo il nostro traduttore. Appunto per il Corriere un paio di mesi fa ho scritto un articolo, un corsivo per l'educazione finanziaria.
Mark, can you translate a few words to our foreigners guests? Or I do it. Okay.
Thank you very much. Il corsivo appunto partiva dai dati dell'indagine OCSE-PISA, il Programma International Student Assessment, dove gli studenti italiani quindicenni, nella comparazione dei sistemi sia scolastici sia di approccio all'educazione finanziaria, risultava un dato preoccupante. E oggi il vostro convegno qui in Italia per noi è un modo anche per sconfiggere quella maleducazione finanziaria che...
Allora, just to say, it's come si dice, maleducazione finanziaria.
Esatto, deve essere problematico.
Bad financial preparation of our journalists. So we are just trying in few minutes to explain in Italian what we are doing in Europe. I'm sorry for foreigner, but I try to translate a little.
Yes. Un gap important. Vabbè, io dico, in pratica oggi per noi appunto questo contributo ad ascoltare voi sarà anche l'impegno dei giornalisti, dei colleghi presenti nel cercare di accorciare quelle distanze che hanno portato la lingua italiana in primis e gli studenti a percepire i temi dell'economia, della finanza, dei soldi come qualcosa di sporco, cattivo, distante.
So the endeavor today is to fill the gap between the perception of finance as something bad and dirty and money, and compared to a vision more positive and more constructive. So this was the subject of an article that Benedetta wrote in the Corriere della Sera, an op-ed a few weeks ago. No?
Yeah,
okay.
Perfect. Quindi la faccio breve, dico solo che l'educazione finanziaria ha come asset ovviamente i temi che oggi abbiamo parlato, toccano, intrecciano la sostenibilità, anche l'inclusione, ma diciamo, l'obiettivo principale, per esempio, quelli che io definisco i nativi sostenibili, quindi le nuove generazioni, next generation, a loro guardava, sicuramente ci fa capire che intreccia la vita sociale, i temi sociali, le relazioni sociali, quindi non è più un mondo distante. Se c'è stata un'epoca, soprattutto in Italia, in cui la finanza sembrava qualcosa di distante, oggi è innovation. Thank you very much.
So finance is innovation. This is the main message, and it's something that is in our lives every day, in our everyday life. It's not something distant, and it's part of sustainability. It's a pillar of sustainability, and so it's something that we have to be very much acquainted with. And this is the role of financial educators to spread knowledge and awareness.
Thank you.
Thank you to everybody. Thank you to Maria Pia Quaglia. She is very helpful in translating. Now we can ask people to put some questions to our speakers, and I can ask to Andrea Fassi to come here and to say something about your job and your ability to give information to your students.
Hi, I'm Andrea Fassi. I'm a trainer on finance and credits for institutional customers like bank, insurance. And we try to train the people on new laws. You speak about resiliency. Now we have DORA. That is something you must have in a bank, you must have in insurance, Digital Operational Resilience Act. Or we have NIS2, that is another must for strong customer authentication, for example. So cybersecurity. We have the laws, but we have to apply them in relationship with our customer. It's true what they have said. So, for example, Italian customers don't believe to equity world. It's too risky, but not because they evaluate the real risk. Because I don't know equity, so let's throw away. It's too complicated. I don't want to study or to understand or to do something like that. So the professional must make the job for their customer. They have to train the customer to understand in an easy way what it happens. For example, private bankers is like a magician for the most part of the customer. He knows something that is not comprehensible, and he has to make simple choices from really hard word. To understand finance is not so difficult, but too difficult for the 90% of our customers. So my job is trying to train and to explain to our professionals so that they can explain it to their customers that there are laws that protects investors and specifically retail investors or private investors, but not corporates or professionals. And it's not the world you have in the 80s when they try to sell everything. It's correct. Insurance is another item, because if you have protection and prevention, you have more liquidity you can invest. Liquidity is not a good protection. It's too expensive, especially when you have inflation. And maybe it's not sufficient, because if a hard item happens to you, your liquidity is not enough. So if you have protection and investment and protection, that simple example. I want to invest to protect my family. But if I die tomorrow morning, probably my investment with 7 years time to give the right performance is not reached. If I have insurance investment product, the IBIPS, there is a debt insurance so that I can have back all my money even if I die tomorrow. So there is more protection. But normal customer doesn't know. Doesn't understand why I have to make an insurance investment-based product. So this is my job, more or less. Thank you, Paolo.
Thank you, Andrea. I don't know if Francesco Caruso wants to add something, because you are very, very skilled in financial. Do you want to ask something or just to speak about your job? Are you ready?
I wasn't prepared, but I tried.
Yeah. No, it's a trap. Okay.
Thank you, Paolo. Good morning to everyone. I am Francesco Caruso. I work in financial sector. I own a firm that does consulting to banks and to private investors to better their investments and to better their knowledge. And in my personal experience, there is a lot of institutional history, and now actually I am in the investment committee of SIAT, that is the Society of of technical analysts I've been also for 6 years in the World Committee of IFTA, that is the World Association. And one of the main goals that we have in SIAT is to deepen the knowledge, the financial knowledge of investors. And I think that this is one of the most interesting things that I heard today from the people that was speaking. And we do many events to try to make people understand what my colleague says. Yes, Andrea says that we have to understand the real kind of risk that there is in investing in financial instruments.
Okay. Do you want to speak a little about the site you are publishing in the web?
It's part of my job. As I told, we do independent advisory for people like private investors and even for professionals, and we are in consulting for some banks that ask us to prepare some kind of portfolio that is specifically devoted to some kind of investor. But I think that one of the best things that we can do is really to make people understand what is the mechanism behind the markets. And there are two mechanisms behind the markets. One is a financial mechanism. The other one is a psychological mechanism. That is the most important one. Because we have to understand that markets are dominated by the sentiment of the people, and the sentiment of the people goes in cycles from fear to greed. And these are two very dangerous sentiments.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Francesco. And now, in a few minutes, we can have a coffee break. But if there is some question to our speakers, it's a moment to make it. Otherwise, we can have a beautiful cup of coffee. Mark, please. Do you want a microphone? Will you come here?
I just wanted to come back on a comment from Paolo Mazzanti, specifically about the delegation of investment decisions to US and global asset managers, which is resulting in a flow of capital away from Italy and from Europe, and is resulting then in capital build up outside, which is coming in and purchasing local companies. So you have a sort of a vicious circle. This is something that's discussed quite regularly. But I think there's a few dimensions to it. The first one is that it is generally accepted in academic circles that home bias in investor portfolios is a negative from a performance perspective. So from a pure academic standpoint, the globalization of individual investor portfolios is a natural phenomenon, and it is a phenomenon which provided it's balanced around the world. And I think one of the issues is perhaps that there is a tendency in the United States for home bias, so that you get a degree of imbalance. I don't think it's necessarily a problem. I think it's more the fact that what we're seeing in a globally invested population is that the size of the listed markets in Europe are tiny. So I think it's more a question of competitiveness and of building the size of the capital market in Europe independent of that flow. I think the focus on that flow is perhaps slightly misplaced. Can I ask?
Can you answer Do you want to come here or do you have a phone? No. Microphone there.
No, I agree. Of course, I'm not saying that European savings or Italian savings has to be invested in Italian firms. Not at all. But I say that the flow of savings from Europe to the United States asset industry, which is going on for 15 to 20 years. So if you multiply 3 to 400 billion per year per 20 years is around 8,000 billion of wealth, of European wealth, which is gone to the United States. I would say that if we had a big asset industry, we could attract savings from the United States and from Asia and to invest it all over the world. That's the problem is the one side direction from Europe, which is big savings, to the asset industry of the United States. This is the point that both Enrico Letta report and Mario Draghi report are underlined.
Maria Pia, puoi intervenire tu? I ask Maria Pia to say something because she is so skilled in this.
I think the size of the market is crucial. So that's why
Please, have a big microphone.
they're calling for a single stock, European stock market. So if we want to be competitive with the US, we should have one single European stock market, not Frankfurt, Paris, and so I see the point of size, and with the size it comes.
One single authority.
Yeah, well,
27 different.
A real market union. That what Letta was calling for too, because so there you're both. I agree with both. There's a question of size, so we should look at one single European stock market. Merging all the stock market, which is unrealistic. I mean, there's no political will to do this, and that would also bring bigger asset managers, because if we had a bigger market, it would all be. But it's today it looks unlikely, especially because politically single states, Germany, France, are weakening instead of. So this is a big problem for Europe, I think. I'll leave the stage.
Thank you very much. We have the stage for Jose Estevez from Madrid.
Thank you, Paolo. Thank you very much. Well, I appreciated a lot the words and the intervention of Mr. Paolo, because I think Paolo, because I think he put the idea on the core of the problems in relation to the European market and American market, and American industry. And the key word, in my opinion, is trust. Something is missing is trust. And what is missing this trust? This sentiment, Mr. Caruso pointed out before, very, very intelligent. In my opinion, trust is missing in Europe because there is not a level of protection on investment. What is the real law is protecting with the size and dimension of the European law? Because very, very speech from the political side, but at the end there is not a real protection for investors. It is very important to be able not only to have a real and important, relevant education, like World Federation of Investors is trying to do. I think is critical. It's very important. It's the first point, but the second point has to be necessarily to have a real protection of the law, the European law, with a single market of the investors, because otherwise we are not advancing in relation to European market and in American markets or Asian markets. I think we have to think it over clearly and to have a real protection. Something other thought is I think is important, missing in this round table, is concerning the idea of the European companies, European industry. You mentioned Paolo, but European companies have a serious problem. Is that the protection of the shareholders are not updated, are not adequate. The shareholder, the minority shareholders are not rightly protected, not either. It's a pity, but it's the real situation. We are functioning with law of the 19th century. Look at, sorry, we are in Italy, I appreciate the law. Look at the general meeting new law in Italy. But in Spain it's not too much better. So we need a protection, a legislation saving or protecting the investors of the savers, of the new savers, if you want, Paolo. We can make a political statement, very, very beautiful political statement, but we need this protection to improve the trust. Without, there is no trust, there is no manner to advance.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Jose. And I don't know if our French friend wants to take 5 minutes, little speech. We have nothing to add to our next time.